Welcome to another episode of Scope. I am your host, Tracy Pa. Malala Secondary School is taking huge strides in its learning capabilities. One of Madang's premier schools opened its state-of-the-art laboratory that will host lessons in information and communication technology studies. The school is grateful for the partnership with the National Fisheries Authority in establishing this ICT lab. NFA Managing Director Justin Ilakini said during the opening ceremony that a 940,000 kina facility was funded under NFA's education component of its corporate social responsibilities. Ilakini, a former student of Malala Secondary, was thrilled to be part of this historic event.
Staff and students of Malala Secondary School in Madang province continue to upgrade learning facilities. To kick off the 2024 school year, the school welcomed its new 940,000 kina computer laboratory for lessons in information and communications technology. This new development was a project undertaken by the school management in partnership with the National Fisheries Authority under its education component of its corporate social responsibilities. NFA Managing Director Justin Ilakini, a former student of Malala Secondary, was thrilled to be part of the opening ceremony.
In 6 months, the National Fisheries Authority will be the most advanced state entity with an ICT infrastructure. There is a major reform that we are rolling out. In 6 months, we'll go into a building that will be the most modern building in the nation. We have seen the importance of ICT, the productivity, the efficiency in service delivery, turnaround time in terms of doing our work. We've also embraced what ICT can do to serve our people better, in the fisheries sector, in all the other sectors as well. So for us, when we received this request to build an ICT lab, I didn't hesitate. I knew the importance of ICT, the impact it will have on you sitting down there, our students. So we didn't hesitate.
Mr. Ilakini added that students have the right to access quality resources to help lift education standards in the country.
As the National Fisheries Authority, we are an implementing entity of the government. We have to implement policies of the government. If the government has come up with an ICT policy which all our young people must be computer literate, must have access to cutting-edge ICT technologies, we must implement them.
Madang Governor Ramsey Pariwa, also an ex-Malala student, thanked NFA as a development partner in building the ICT lab. Mr. Pariwa stated that the performance rate of Malala Secondary has dropped significantly over the years, from being the highest performing school to being the second last in the 2023 performance results. Governor Pariwa made a commitment of 100,000 kina to the school to set up internet connectivity to support its learning. He also encouraged the students to study hard and smart.
We are second last in the education standard of this country. That means that we have so much to do in terms of education. I must not sit back and see NFA coming here to help out with our education facility in the province. It is my responsibility to come here and see. It is my responsibility and my administration's responsibility, district administration responsibility, and all of us stakeholders in the education sector to come together and put our hands together so that we can work together to improve our education standard.
Secretary for the National Executive Council, Grace Soon, could not miss the opportunity to visit her former school and celebrate with staff and students over the new ICT lab. She encouraged the students to take education seriously. She also challenged them to one day give back to the school.
With the right mindset and attitude towards education, nothing is impossible. Believe in yourselves as the next generation of leaders of our beautiful school, district, province, and country. Who knows, some of you may be privileged to come back one day as a guest of the school just like us today.
Ms. Soon advised the students to use the facility wisely, taking into account the new acts put in place to monitor responsible usage of the Internet, such as the Digital Government Act and the Cybercrime Code Act.
The ICT lab that will soon be commissioned provides you, the students, this access to information. Use the facilities wisely and for its intended purposes to expand your knowledge base. Take this opportunity seriously in your quest for education, as not many schools around the country have access to such facilities, let alone a fully stocked library. Consider yourselves privileged to be able to access the e-learning tools that the lab brings.
The students, teachers, and administration and the community were advised to take ownership and care for the facilities for future students.
To the students, please be reminded that with empowerment comes responsibility. You are the decision maker of how you will use the facilities provided. While you may think that this is a matter of free will, let me caution you that the national government recognizes the risk associated with the use of technology and has enacted legislation to regulate its use. The two important legislations in the ICT sector I encourage you all to be aware of are the Digital Government Act 2002 and the Cybercrime Code Act 2016.
Following the formalities, Governor Pariwa and Sister Inderberg unveiled the plaque and cut the ribbon.
We officially opened the lab.
The ICT lab was blessed and christened as Sister Jane Francis Milan ICT Laboratory.
When we come back, empowering women beyond their kitchens. House Cook initiative empowers and prepares Madang's women for when natural disaster strikes. Women often find themselves at the forefront of disasters in communities. The burdens they bear in preparing and adapting during such crises are substantially, yet they consistently exhibit remarkable resilience. House Cook Initiative, a non-for-profit community-based organization in Madang province, hosted a workshop held this year to equip and empower women with comprehensive knowledge of climate preparedness, adaptation, and practical skills for building resilience against climate change.
Climate justice! Climate justice!
This is Naomi Woyengu, director of the House Cook Initiative, organizing a selfie photo with participants of the Young Women's Climate Action Workshop in Madang. The House Cook Initiative, established in 2018, is a non-for-profit community-based organization operating in Madang province.
Kami pala start in 2018 and we start on the leadership program we call it Elevate Her. Since 2018 coming up now, we've evolved, we've grown as a small team, and we now have other programs as well. The other biggest program we have is around young women's climate action and justice. And this is something that is also connected to the Young Women's Leadership Program that we have at House Cook Initiative. Unlike before, more so than ever, we have been seeing a lot of impacts of climate change happen in this province. And for us at House Cook Initiative, it's imperative or very important where mipla filimosem or young plameri, now young plameri want them disability, and even women, they need to be knowledgeable, informed, they need to be ready and prepared, and also resilient when it comes to climate change. So we have made it our mission. We are starting to make sure that young women are informed about climate change, they are ready to take action and they are resilient to sustain those activities that they are taking in their communities.
The Young Women's Climate Action Workshop was implemented to empower and equip young women with comprehensive knowledge of climate preparedness, adaptation, and practical skills for building resilience against climate change. The primary objective of this workshop was to empower young women in Madang's communities to enrich knowledge and skills about climate justice and disaster management. The workshop was aimed at enabling participants to be active agents of change and not just as recipients. With this understanding, the workshop covered a range of topics, hands-on training and visits to sites to gain visual presentation of climate-related disasters. Recognizing the pivotal role of information in building community resilience, disaster preparedness, and ultimately saving lives, the workshop addresses challenges related to early warning and response during climate-related disasters.
Information poverty around climate change. Here in Madang, there was very little to no awareness amongst young women and women. And so we took it upon ourselves to say, hey, let's try see what we can do. And that's how we came about to putting together the workshop. And for us, it's really to help inform young women, because if you look around, climate change, the impacts of climate change are happening, but no one is taking it seriously. And so it's either they're not being informed and not made aware of. So for us, it's very necessary that we have young women who are informed, who have the knowledge as well as the skills. And the other part of it where we are looking to is having the resources that they may be able to take away from the workshop, but then also implement and create initiatives that they can drive in their own communities.
Ms. Woyengu added that women and young women frequently find themselves at the forefront of disasters in communities. She said the burdens they bear in preparing and adapting during such crises are substantial, yet they consistently exhibit remarkable resilience. She said Madang recently faced a series of disasters including droughts, king tides, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. By empowering women and young women through this workshop initiative, they can strive to close information gaps, improve disaster preparedness, and contribute to community resilience in the face of various challenges. The workshop had a range of speakers from the respective government institutions and NGOs who had virtual and face-to-face dialogue with the young women. The participants asked questions and learned more about climate change and the situations experienced in each of their own surrounding environment.
So first time for a lot of the young women in our training, mipla lomedeng and first time mipla kind workshop kama posem young plameri. So for them to see people in Mosby connecting, we had team from CCDA connecting and sharing. We had other experts calling and sharing their experiences around climate change, indigenous knowledge and nature-based solutions, climate adaptation. This was something really new and something very much needed for our young women in Madang, especially because Madang and Mipla Wampla Maritime Province too inside the country. And in future and in our next programs, we would definitely like to see more young women, because with House Cook Initiative and the work that we are doing, it's primarily only focused in Madang. And it is the 6 districts that we really want to work with and make sure that we are reaching all the young women, and young women and women with disability.
The 3-day workshop, held at the Youth Conference Hall of the Divine Word University, was supported by EcoWeave Project, a partner to House Cook Initiative. The workshop was intended for women from all 6 districts of Madang Province. However, most came from Madang District and a handful from Sumkar.
Climate justice! Climate justice!
The House Cook Initiative is committed to providing safe spaces for both young women and men, nurturing them to lead their own leadership narratives through a human rights-based approach. Their vision is to see a world where young people, particularly young women, take charge of their leadership narratives, contributing to a future characterized by equality, justice, peace, climate resilience, and overall sustainability.
Hunters challenged to take pride in the brand and uphold team culture and standards set by those before them. That story with Terry Longboot on the other side. The New Look 2024 SPPNG Hunters playing group have been challenged to take pride in the Hunters brand and uphold the team's culture and standards set by those who have come before them. When giving his address at the PNG Hunters 2024 season launch on Saturday, March 2nd, PNG RFL Chairman Standis Saka amusedly shared a few lighter moments about the formative years of the Hunters program over the last 11 years. He especially spoke about the logistic nightmare traveling between Port Moresby and Queensland, but amazingly never missed a game, let alone 10 far-away games.
Before he took the podium, PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka spent a few minutes to touch base with Hunters coach Paul Ayton and his players, something he didn't do for a long while. Chairman Saka said bringing a few of the original Hunters players back is a step in the right direction, not just for this season, but going forward. He said when the PNG RFL was accepted back in 2013 to join QRL, everyone did not know what they were getting themselves into. The chairman further alluded there was a great team behind the scenes, including corporate partners who financially backed the team.
What is the SB Hunters about? I was meeting the boys today, and I spoke to the coach, and one thing I mentioned to him was the difference between this team and probably our other teams of the recent past is how the coach, the CEO, and the management have been able to bring together a lot of our original former Hunters players. I think my personal conviction is I think it's a step in the right direction. It bodes well for the Hunters of this year, but also going forward. Because the story of the Hunters is a difficult story. We should have probably written a book about the Hunters' journey to set that story, but not that times past us will do that, but I'll try and take a minute to summarize the Hunters. When we got accepted in 2013 to join the competition in 2014, it would be fair to say we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But we had a good group of people committed, in both the PGRF staff and our partners, traditional partners who have stuck with us all through these times. I will take a minute to acknowledge them.
He said there was a lot of sacrifices made to get the team to where it is today from when they started. It was two completely different ends, adding the challenges faced in the original years were really stressing, considering the team was based in Port Moresby and traveled to Kokopo on weekends to host games. And if that was not enough, the PNG RFL had to meet the cost of airfares and accommodation for the Queensland teams to travel up to Port Moresby and then to Kokopo for Hunters home games. A logistical and financial nightmare.
I want to commend the boys, the original playing team, the staff, and everybody that was involved with the Hunters, because there was a lot of sacrifices made. Where we are today and where we started are at two complete different ends. The challenges and that we faced in the original years were really stressing. The first 2 years, the team had to be based in Moresby but play its games out of Kokopo. And we had the headed burden of meeting the cost of the entire Queensland teams coming here. So you can imagine them, the Queensland teams having landed in Port Moresby, we had to fly them up, accommodate them in Moresby, fly them to Kokopo. Our own team was based out of the Bomana police barracks. So we had to fly both teams into Kokopo, overnight, play the game, and then come back. The cost that entailed, both logistically and financially, was a huge challenge. But the fact that we survived for 2 years and then relocate to Mosby and to bring hunters to where it is today is a testament to not just the sacrifice, but the commitment of all the former players, the management staff, and where it is today. I want to commend Chairman Stan Joyce and the board of the SPPN Hunters, the CEO, the management team, the coaching staff, for taking the hunters to a level that we actually didn't think it'd be. So commendations and congratulations to all.
Chairman Saka also took time to marvel about how good the team was and the incredible talent and natural flair, especially the unorthodox play they brought to the Queensland level that got the Queensland team sit up and take notice. He singled out Hunter's original centre-wing combination, try-scoring freak Gary Law scoring a hat-trick in Kokopo, and Thompson Tete's sidestep to seal the Hunters' first win against Dolphins in their inaugural season in 2014 at Redcliffe.
For those that joined us late, the first year, 2014, was the year of somebody called Gary Law. I think for those that know the game name, I think it's bigger. He scored 23 tries in the first year. A great group of boys. One of the greatest games I think that Gary played was a game against South Logan in Kokopo. He scored 4 tries. The boys went on to do great things that set the platform for that year. I think the first game that the boys played was at Redcliffe. Thompson Tete that sidestep, and they won the first game. And when the boys won that first game, they told the QRL and the Rugby League world that we are here to play football. We're not just here to make the numbers. And that set the pace for the rest of the season.
Before officially announcing his final 30-man squad for the 2024 Oz Cup season, PNG Hunters rookie coach Paul Ayton had to make some tough calls with a number of regular season campaigners left out of the squad, namely Juni Igila, Benji Court, Siki Konden, and Shevin Tinabi for various reasons. Among the returning 19 Hunters regulars from the 2023 season, Coach Ayton named 11 debutants, including 3 junior Kumuls, Finley Glare, Gairo Voro, and Bruce Bawase, who were part of last year's junior Kumuls that played the Australian schoolboys during the PM's 13 weekend. After navigating his first pre-season as head coach, Paul Ayton was proud of how the players and staff were able to endure a tough pre-season. He said he was extremely happy with how the squad came together.
Proud of the boys, how far we've come. We're starting to build something special. We've got an injection of new players who are pushing the older ones, so it's really good. I'm proud of them, proud of each and every one of them. Even the boys post-Christmas, pre-Christmas, didn't have any issues, so I'm proud of all of them. Yeah, I'm feeling very proud of them. Anxious and nervous as well.
Coach Hayton also confirmed inspirational skipper and team leader Ila Alu to lead the team again this season, adding he is the most senior player in the group with a strong charisma and a role model for the next generation of Hunters players. Alu again put his hand up to embrace the leadership role and help mentor and maneuver the team through another tough season ahead.
Little components around being efficient in attack and in defense for longer periods of time that can help us. Playing in the Oz Cup, it's not easy. From when I started to where it is now, speed of the game, the technicality of the game that is involved has evolved to another level. So I'm gratefully that whatever we've learned, as long as we can be able to implement it throughout week in, week out, we'll eventually get there. But it's early days for us to say that finally it's a guarantee for us. There's a lot of things to work on to make this a reality. Now we will take each game as it comes, each week as it comes, and we'll see how the outcome is.
After the season launch a week earlier, Hunters went straight to serious business the following Saturday, taking on one of Queensland's heavyweights, Winning Manly Seagulls, in a blockbuster season opener at the Santos National Football Stadium. The Hunters had 4 debutants in their 17, while Winning Manly had to call up on the NRL experience to boost their pack. After a disjointed opening 10 minutes of football, the teams eventually found their groove, exchanging tries in the first 40 for a 12-10 scoreline in Hunters' favour. The hunters found another gear in the second half to blow the gulls out of the water. But it was new kid on the block, Clint Lama, recording his first hat-trick on debut. 1 in the first half and 2 in the second. Weya Koi, who was solid from the bench, also scored on debut. Hunters looked home and host with still 20 minutes to go. A late surge by Wynnum with 2 late tries did not help their cause. At full time, Hunters recorded a resounding victory, 36 points to 22 over Wynnum, to kick off their 2024 on a positive note. A dream start for new coach Paul Ayton, who was overwhelmed by the team's overall performance. He made special mention of the 4 new boys who did not look out of place, playing for the first time at the QRL level.
Well, it's always great to get the 2 points. Made it a little bit harder for ourselves, but the boys gave their effort and you can see it today. The good thing is they're only going to get better. So it was their first game and they didn't look out of place. So I was really proud of all the boys, but especially the debutants because it's their first game. So yeah, very happy.
Look, we just have to play our part. Everyone else, everyone has a role to do, and that's all that we asked to do. So full credit to everyone. As you, the forwards were a standout today, but it's something that we've discussed. In order for our backs to shine, we have to lay the platform for them. So couldn't be more proud. And like I said, we just have to build on from here.
Until next Sunday, I'm Tracy Pa. See you then.